This next question is one of my favorites. It says, if you could go back, what is one thing that each of you guys would do differently when it comes to dating? Ooh. I think we did a lot of things good when we were dating, and we did a lot of things really bad when we were dating. We messed up in a lot of different areas. And the area that I think we've learned a lot of hard lessons was in the area of our purity. And what purity is just withholding and just being very careful with our physical boundaries and stuff like that. And we've crossed lines that I don't think we should ever cross, but because God is good and God's full of grace, and we're using our failures to help you guys live a better life. And so there's a couple of guardrails that we learned that can help you guys, especially when it comes to you guys remaining pure. Because I think every Christ follower, especially if you're sold out for Jesus, you need to be remaining as pure as possible, and it's good for you and it's good for each other in a relationship. So there's a couple guardrails that we've learned the hard way that we did in our relationship that worked really well for us. And one is this: don't be alone. A lot of times we were never alone. Like, we would just hang out in group settings, or we would, we were never home alone. We would never set ourselves up for a bad situation to occur. There was a couple times in our lives where we did, and it just never ended well. And so when we just established the rule of, hey, we cannot hang out alone, it just makes things so much better for us. The second thing we did, which is really cool, which we never did perfectly, but I mean, when we did, it was awesome, was we prayed before and after we hung out. So like literally before we did anything, we would just pray, and then afterwards we would pray again. And it just kind of covered the night with prayer and making Jesus the center. That's one way, if you want to be like, how do we make Jesus the center? Pray together. And so that's what we did a couple times, and it was so good. And I wish we did that more, and I wish we still did that more, but we hang out all the time now, so it's a little better. And the third thing we did is accountability is key. And so, I mean, there was a season, guys, where we would literally text somebody like, hey, I'm hanging out with Gabby, and she'd be like, hey, I'm hanging out with Anthony, just so that we could get other people in on what's going on in our relationship. Because we wanted to remain pure, and we wanted to fight temptation at all cylinders and be really wise. And so that's what we did. And when we got other people involved, when we prayed, and when we weren't alone, those three simple things helped us remain pure in so much. And so that's what I want to encourage you with as you figure out how to remain pure in your relationship. Don't be alone, pray together, and accountability is so key.